Thank you so much for being here. Welcome. And on behalf of the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to thank you so much for choosing to be a part of the TriWaco legacy. We're honored and tickled that you're going to add your story to a history that's, 15 plus years in running right now. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to go through a course review and an athlete briefing about some important things for you guys to know. What we're going to do is we have some people monitoring the Q&A box down below. And so if you have questions about anything, go ahead and type them in there. Any course questions, we're going to save till the end. I'm going to go through the presentation. It'll take me about maybe 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes. And then at the end, we're going to have a section where our head referee is on with us, Russ Jackson. He's going to answer any any questions you have on the competitive rules, since there's new competitive rules out there. So if you'll save those for the end or type them into the Q&A, we'll get to those at the end. And here we go. We'll roll with it. Thanks for being here. So first thing I want to go over is I just want to talk through some kind of administrative things about race weekend and the schedule, and just about everything. I made some notes that I can think of that I'll mention right now. You can find on the TriWaco website as well. If there's anything that's not on there, I'll let you know. So first off, race weekend packet pickup is on Saturday from 12 to 6 at the Waco Convention Center in the Texas North Room, which you can access from the side door that empties out onto or goes out onto transition. So packet pickup 12 to 6 on Saturday. We will be doing an athlete briefing again, repeating this live at the Greater Waco Chamber of Commerce building at 11 o'clock and 3:30 on that Saturday as well, race weekend. Race weekend, there'll also be a practice swim sponsored and put on by the Waco Tri Club at 2 o'clock. So you guys can sign up for that either at packet pickup or at the on-site at the swim itself, which will be under the bridge at 2 o'clock. And they're going to take you out on a part of the course that we'll have set up already, so you can get a quick look at it. Not the entire course, but just up to one of the buoys. And they'll have waivers there for you to sign on site. So that's Saturday. On Sunday, race morning, it's real important that you get there early. Transition will open up at 4:45. When you get there, I'm going to show you a visual here in a second of transition, how you enter transition. We'll have body marking going on, but we've also set it up or given you some instruction in a video to how you can self body mark if you'd like. So on the frequently asked questions section of the TriWaco website, you'll see one about body marking. We put a video and some descriptions up there to where you can self mark if you want yourself back at the hotel or wherever you're coming from. One quick tip on that: if you decide to self mark, make sure that you do it when your arm is dry and your leg is dry. Put your sunscreen on after you mark, because it's hard to use a mark slot on your body when it's wet or sweaty or got some sunscreen on there. So if you want to self mark, that way when you come in, you can just get checked and walk right into transition and find your spot. Transition will close at 6 o'clock. When the transition closes, we'll do a course update with me. If I have any new information to get you, I'll get it to you at that time. There will be no athlete briefings on race morning. And for you guys that have done TriWaco before, this is a little bit different. We're going to get you started right away and get you in the water and try to get everything done before we get too hot that day. So there'll be a quick update. And then when transition closes at 6 o'clock, we're going to start to head over to our prospective swim starts for Sprint and Olympic at 6:15. Sprint race will start at 6:30. As you approach your starting spot, you'll line up based on your estimated swim time. There'll be some signs laid out on the sidewalk, and I'm going to show you a visual of this here in a second as well. And you'll just seed yourself and we'll get you started. Olympic, you'll go past where the sprint's starting, and this all happens on what we call the north side of the river. Olympic will start at approximately about 6:50. When you guys get up there, the same thing. You'll line up based on your estimated swim time, and we'll get you in the water and get you going. Race course closes at 11:30, and we're going to go through the specifics of that here in a second as well. So that's the broad overview of the schedule on Sunday. Let's dive a little bit deeper now. So let's talk about transition first. Pull up some visuals for you here. Let's see. Whoops, pardon the picture of me. All right. So let's go back to the beginning transition. Let me go back and I'll drill down a little bit deeper on what's going to happen on race morning. So this picture is also on the TriWaco. This picture or this map is on the TriWaco website at triwaco.org. And it's the venue map is how it's listed. It shows you an overview of where bike in and out is, run out is, where the finish is. And this is probably a map that'll help your Sherpas more than anything. One side note I want to mention about your Sherpas is I will tell you the best spots to have them come watch you at and where they're going to get the best picture. And this particular venue is good because they can see you come in from the swim. They can see you out on the bike course and they can catch you on the run as well. So it's great for that. So one thing to note on this venue flow map is the finish is back on the suspension bridge. We're excited to bring that back this year. And the bike in and out section at the far right down there, that's where I'm going to show you here on the next, actually, let's just go to the next visual. On this visual here, that's where the transition entrance is. So when you come in on race morning, you'll enter in at the entrance that is at Franklin and U Parks at the far end of transition. We usually have quite a bit of volunteers there, body marking and checking, so we should be able to get you through pretty quick, but a line does tend to form, so get there early. Sprint bike racks are on the side by the river, and the Olympic bike racks are on the side by the Hilton Hotel. You can see where run out is at the other end, and then swim in and out or swim out from the river is on a couple of ladders that are down under the bridge, and you take the ramp up into transition. So the transition flow continues on to the swim now. Let's talk about the swim. So the swim sprint entrance is, you can see down at the far bottom down here where it says exit and transition. We're going to walk right here to this bridge, which is Washington and U Parks. And we're going to take you across the bridge and down this path and over to the sprint start. It's not very far. It's about, oh gosh, maybe a quarter to half a mile, if that, to get over there, probably a little less than that. And these are where on the sidewalk right here, as you walk up on the path, the swim signs will be located to where you can self-seed yourself. You guys will line up. There's a little dock right there, and we'll put you into the water right there off of the dock. No diving, please. Jump in feet first or sit on the side and fall in, just in case there's any debris in the water. And the only difference on this map between the way it'll be set up is we found that with the river, sometimes there's a little bit of a current. So this buoy right here will be at a little bit more of an angle. Looks like it's a straight across shot across the river, and then you make a left and head back. You're actually going to go at a little bit of an angle. That way it's easier for you to hit that buoy if the current takes you a little bit. So that's the only difference you'll see, but it'll look very similar to that. With a red turn buoy, it'll actually be a red tetrahedron, which is a big triangular buoy. Instead of that red, we call that the tomato, but we lost it last year, got a hole in it. So Olympic, you'll continue on down this path for about a little less than a mile, about 9/10 of a mile down. And that's where your start will be. And same thing, we'll have some signs laid out there that will have estimated swim time. You'll line up and we'll get you guys in the water. So the swim course closes. So the sprint will start at 6:30 a.m. and the Olympic will start right about 6:50. As soon as you guys get there, we're going to start to get you in the water right away. Swim course closes at 8:10. So we've always found that with the downriver aspect of this race, nobody's ever had any issues of getting it done. So you should have plenty of time to get from point to point. So when you swim down right here to where it says exit, that's where you'll see 2 ladders, and we have plenty of volunteers there to help give you a hand up if you need it. You'll come up the ladders, and that's where you'll come back up, and you can see swim eggs right there. You'll run up a ramp that'll take you up top to the swim in path back into transition. All right, let's move on to the bike course. And I'm going to go through all these pretty quick so we can leave plenty of time for any questions that end up in the chat box. So the bike course, I want you to take a look at this. It's a very straightforward bike course. Ignore the inset that's up the top right here because I made a new copy of it here. We're going to update the website today with it, and I'll explain why here in a second. So the bike course is a loop. Sprint will do 2 loops, and the Olympic does 3 loops. Now, you've got two turnarounds on this bike course. One down there you can see as you start at I-35 and MLK, and then one at the other end of MLK at Lakeshore. What I want to talk about today and spend most of the time on the bike course is what I call the bike interchange right here. So let me flip over to that, and that's what this inset shows you, visualizes, or gives you a visual of, and that's what this is going to update to when I get it up on the website. So going back to this for 1 second, this area right here is right in between Washington and Franklin. And this is the suspension bridge right here. Actually, let me go to this one, suspension bridge right here. The reason I call this the bike interchange is as you approach this spot, you're on the median inside lane of the road heading with traffic. And you've got to make a decision when you get to this sign. And this is actually a picture of the sign that'll be in the middle of the road. That'll say loop, continue on straight ahead, or veer to the right for bike in. So you're going to have to know how many loops you've done. If you've done 2 and you're doing the sprint distance, then you'll veer off to the right and take bike in and follow bike in all the way back into transition on Franklin Avenue. Okay. If you need to do another loop, you'll continue on through and complete the additional loops that you need, 3 for the Olympic, and then you hit bike in as well. Now, this spot here is real important that you're aware where you are when you see that sign and remember what you have to do. Because once you hit bike in, this is coned to where you cannot continue on because that would be a safety issue. On this side of the road, we've got people that are starting their ingress to the course. So you've got a bike out pattern where people are turning onto MLK. And there's a merge spot right up here where people continuing on and people just starting ingress to the course are merging together. So there are 2 additional signs I want you to be aware of. Let's take a look at them and then I'll come back to this page. This is the sign that you'll see for loop and bike in. This is literally the sign that we'll have out posted on a stand. The other sign you're going to see when I go back to that shot here in a second is a sign that says cyclists, no passing next 0.2 of a mile. So that section right back here where you can see that sign, it's real important that we keep that safe for everybody. And we set it to no passing in that area. Now I do give the head official or the officials permission to give a penalty if they see that, because it's real important that through this area, we stay frosty and aware and we keep ourselves to where we're at and don't worry about passing till we get out of this area. So if you would, don't pass in this area. There's a sign there to remind you. And then the next one up here, cyclist merge ahead, looks just like that. And that's just so you can be aware that there are participants, other athletes that are making ingress onto the course as you're continuing on with your loop. Oops, wrong way. Sorry, guys. So this will be on the website. Take a look at it on the website. Take a look out there. If you want to come by and talk to me, I'll be out there for the 11 and 3 o'clock athlete briefings and course reviews on Saturday. So after you've had some time to process it, come talk to me if you have any questions that I don't answer tonight, and we can talk some more then. So let's move on to the next one, which is a sign that I want you to be aware of that you're going to see in some areas that are for you guys and also for any potential vehicles. Now, there's a statement you're going to hear me read off before we get started, and it talks about how the course is coned. We have police officers at select intersections, and there's signage on the course. However, this is not a completely closed course. There are a lot of sections that are, but not the whole course. So in certain areas, we're going to put these signs up to remind motorists where they need to be and to remind you guys where you need to be. So these will be stuck on cones. So be aware, look for them, and just keep an eye out and be aware where you are at all times. So the cutoff on the bike course, let's talk about that now. Remember, the swim I said is 8:10. The swim course closes. The bike course closes at 10:20. Now there's an interim cutoff at 9:20 where I won't allow anybody to start another loop. So that gives you plenty of time to get through that initial phase of the bike course. But after 9:20, nobody will be able to start another loop. And then at 10:20, the bike course closes entirely. So make sure that you take some time for that, think that through. And again, if I need to talk about this to you in person, come see me and we'll save any questions for this and we can definitely answer them at the end of the presentation if you'd like. All right, run course. So this is off the website. And before I forget, this map here is on the website and the inset will be on the website as well. The run course map is also going to be on the website, or it's already on the website. The only change that we need to make on this, I noticed a revision we need to make, is it still says finish on Washington Avenue Bridge. That was that way for the past couple of years because of construction on the suspension bridge, but we now finish back on the suspension bridge. So the main thing on this map and on the Sprint Olympic course is, as everybody leaves out the same way, as you approach what we call Pecan Bottoms right here, and you can see the inset, the Sprint course takes a left and goes up the ramp up onto the Herring Street Bridge right here, travels over to the north side of the river, and then continues on to the finish. The Olympic distance goes past this first rest stop, and you guys get to go back into beautiful, hilly, shady Cameron Park. And your turnaround is up what they call Lover's Leap before you head back down. And then when you get back down to that rest stop, you then head up on to the ramp to get you up onto the Herring Street Bridge, which takes you to the other side of the river and takes you back to the finish. Now, a couple of things about this. This side of the river, we call the south side of the river, has got shade. So the Sprint folks, Olympic folks, everybody, you're going to get shade through here. Olympic, you're going to get shade plus hills through here. I'm going to show you the profile in a second. This side of the river, the north side of the river, has absolutely no shade. So plan for that, think through that, regulate yourself as necessary, depending on the temperatures, and know that on this side of the river, it's flat, but you get no shade whatsoever. The cutoff for the entire course, for the run course for the entire event, is 11:30. So we want to get everybody back on the other side of the river by that time if we can, and get you guys in safely. We don't know what the temperatures are going to be. Right now, they're looking like they'll be below 100, which is good. But we're playing the temperature game just like everybody else is. So the run course, you'll be able to hit the rest stops and get hydration. But we also, this will lead us into the next section as long as we're talking about conditions. We want to make sure that you think through thermal regulation. So we provided cold towels at all the rest stops. They'll be iced down in a big tub. There's plenty of them. Please take advantage of them. They'll be at every rest stop. They'll be at the run out aid station and all the aid stations along the course. Grab those towels, throw them on the back of your neck, grab an extra one, put it in your hat, and keep your core temperature down as much as you can. The only thing we ask with these is that you hold on to them and throw them away at another rest stop or throw them away at the finish. We're guests in the city of Waco, and we want to keep it the way we found it when we got there and do our best not to litter. So thermal regulation is really important. Another bit of communication or aspect or system we're adding into the race this year is we're adding in a flagging system. I don't have the details to completely confirm to introduce to you today, but I want you to know that before race day, and I'll probably mention this one more time before we start the race on Sunday on the 9th, we have a flagging system that we're working on putting in place that's going to have 4 flag colors: green, yellow, red, and black. Each one of those will have a designation that corresponds to what's going on with the temperature. Most importantly, what's going on with the heat index. The green flag means everything's okay. All the way down to the other extreme is the black flag. If for any reason the black flag is posted at a rest stop, that means that we've made the decision to shorten the course because of something that's happened environmentally with heat. So we've always been able to get everybody back in before it gets too hot on this race because we have a cutoff at 11:30. I don't think we'll have any issues there. Each one of the rest stops is going to have a sign that tells you what each one of those flags means so that you can know, and then the rest stop personnel will know as well. We're going to keep in radio contact with them, and we're going to let them know what flag they should be flying so that they can get that information to you so you know. Most importantly, the information is that you can determine how you're going to regulate your intensity for the day. So look for that. Details will be up on the website very soon. We'll have signs out there, and I'll mention it again on race day as well. All right. I flew through that pretty quick for me. If you know me, I can get pretty wordy. I am going to switch over to, let's see. I did want to do one last thing and show you that. That's the profile. which should be on the race, which should be on TriWaco.org as well. But I always have a few folks every year that get caught by surprise on the hills. Let me go back to this for a second and show you. Only the Olympic distance gets those hills that you see in the middle right there from about just about mile 2 all the way through to mile 3.7. You can see there just coming back down the other side. That all happens right back in this area, right back in here in Cameron Park. So the Olympic distance race gets that, but the sprint does not. So plan for that. Plan for hills on the run course and then no shade on this side of the run course. Okay. All right. Let's switch back over here for now. And I see some questions in the Q&A. So Russ, actually, let's do this first. Linda, have you found any registration questions popping in?
But there was just one and I answered it. It was a specific relay question.
Okay.
Hey, Frank. So I will go ahead and read the questions to you if you don't mind answering live, and then I'll go ahead and type the answers as well. So the first question we got was, how's the river? Is the current strong? Is the swim with or against the current?
Great question. So to answer, sun's coming in my window. Let me turn this a little bit, guys. So to answer the question, Olivia, you said, is the current strong and are we going with or against the current?
Yes.
So there's no way of knowing really what the current's going to be like until we get to race weekend. That's going to depend on rain. We're not supposed to have any rain between now and then. So I'm thinking the flow should be pretty manageable, if much at all. So we've seen it in many different forms down there. So really that's going to depend on, we won't know really the answer to that until race weekend. The good news is you're going with the current. So the only time that really affects you is, like we said, the start of the swim. Instead of sending you straight across the river, we're going to send you at a little bit of an angle, which always seems to help people out if the current is a little bit faster than normal, but you get to ride the current all the way back to the finish.
All right, next question. If there are any bike incidents, flats, chains, breaking, etc., what do we do? Try and fix it, or will we get picked up?
If there are any bike incidents, like a breakdown, you mean a mechanical breakdown? Is that what that said?
Yes.
Yeah, another great question. So Bicycle World is, besides being presenting the sponsor of the event, they're going to have their mechanics out there. They'll have a mechanic at the finish to start the race, in transition, I should say. And then they will have 2 mobile mechanics out on bikes that are going to be out rotating around the course watching you guys. If for some reason they can't fix what's going on, we do have a couple of SAG vehicles that are that'll be waiting in the wings, and they'll come pick you up if you can't continue on.
What type of nutrition will be on the bike and run? Will there be any porta potties on the bike and run?
So there will not be no nutrition or porta potties on the bike portion. You're on your own on the bike portion. On the run, there will be a Gatorade Endurance offered, and there will be porta potties on the run.
Okay. For those entered in the aqua bike, how will we finish the race work? How will finishing the race work? Excuse me.
So you guys will finish when you come in. We'll have an aqua bike flag standing up for you to remind you, but you finish as you cross the dismount timing mat. That's the end of your race. So we should have some medals over there for you. We'd love for you to come over to the finish line so we can get a picture of you over there, but we'll have your medals and we'll have a flag there so that you know that you're done right there as you cross the dismount timing mat.
Okay. For the swim, they just go around the buoy, correct? No need to tag it or anything. We have a first-time racer.
Yes. Oh, and I forgot to ask that. First-time racer, thank you. And this is the first time I've done one of these on Zoom like this, so it's throwing my rhythms off a little bit. I typically will ask a question about who's doing their first triathlon, but I can't, it's hard for me to get a read for that, like doing it on Zoom. So first of all, anybody doing this as their first triathlon, thank you so much. We're honored. I know that your first experience is the one you're going to remember the rest of your life. So we want to do the best job we can to make that experience memorable. So back to the question about the swim. Remember that the sighting buoys are always going to stay on your left. So as long as you remember that the turn buoys and the sight buoys. And you know what, let me take a second, Olivia. I'll go back and share that screen and I'll talk through that. Olivia, can you see that screen again?
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Okay, let me go back to the swim and I'll talk that through with the map up. So you have two different types of buoys on a swim course. You've got turn buoys and sight buoys. The turn buoys are the large ones that demarcate where the course is, and the sight buoys are usually smaller, usually red for most races, and those are to help you sight from turn buoy to turn buoy. So once you head out from the start on both of these, you're going to make a left-hand turn. You're going to keep those buoys on your left shoulder. Now, as far as touching them go, you do not have to touch them. Just swim around them and just keep going downstream back to the finish and keep the buoys on your left. Now, the only exception to that is when you get back down, if you look down here at the bottom, okay, when we get you back there, this buoy is going to be on your left. If you stay to your left, we've got to get you back in here to exit. So what we've done is we're going to put two buoys in the water that you're going to shoot for. And this particular buoy is situated to where you're actually going to make a right turn around that last buoy, which will take you between these last two buoys that are under the bridge. And those are just to guide you back into where the ladders are. We'll also have a couple of people on the side of the embankment, on the side of the bank, that are going to be waving red flags to give you something to guide you back to where you need to be to exit out of the water.
Let's see what else we have. We got 20, we have 20 questions, Frank, so it'll take a
Awesome.
second. Let's see. Will we walk to the swim transition alone, or will someone guide us?
So you're going to, what we're going to do is we're going to have each one of my swim coordinator, and then my second or my assistant swim coordinator. They're going to stand down at, I think I'm going to bring up the map again. You know what? I'll go ahead and just leave these maps up there so I can use them as we talk through this. So back to the transition map. What's going to happen is right down here at run out, my swim coordinator is going to stand down there and wave the swim cap color for the Olympic athletes. Everybody's going to line up, and then he's going to walk you across the bridge. And it's a really easy trip over there. It's impossible to get lost, but he's going to walk in front of you and guide that line of athletes over to the Olympic start. As soon as he's done, then my assistant swim coordinator is going to stand there and wave a cap. We'll call off on the PA for the sprint folks to line up. Actually, we do the sprint folks first. I take that back. Get you guys walking over since you're in the water first, and then the Olympic will be right behind them, but they'll guide you over and walk in front of you and guide the line of athletes over to where you're going to be. So it's literally, it's directly across right here. You can see this. It's across this bridge. Here's transition. You make a right. We'll guide you across this bridge, which is closed to traffic. You'll make a left and come down on the path right here, and then just walk along the river to your prospective start.
All right. The next one is, how do we know our helmet is considered okay by the race rules?
You know what? I'm going to save that one for Russ.
Okay. Next past that is, will a sign indicate the end of the no passing zone?
It does not. It does not. So once you're back together and you've merged back together, then it's okay to pass again. So the only time you can't pass is when we've got two different flows of traffic, the ingress and people continuing on. Once you're past that and you're past the merge sign is your signal that you can pass again after that.
All right. Let's see. Bike course. Do we keep the cones on our right or left side on the route?
Bike course, cones on the right or left. Let's think about that. So the cones will be on your right-hand side. You'll be on the, let's go to that map really quick. So when you come out, they're going to be, that's a hard question to answer. I've never had that before. Thank you for making me think through that. I love questions I haven't had before. So that's not a straight ahead answer, because it depends on the part of the course that you're on. It'll be obvious when you're there. First off, you stay to the right-hand side of the course. So as you're exiting out right here and bike out, the cones are going to be on your left-hand side, okay? As you turn onto the course and then continue on, and I don't have a picture of the merge up there, but you'll see it's very obvious. The cones will bring you together. Once you merge into the regular flow of traffic, then for the rest of the course, the cones are going to be on your right-hand side. Now, that changes because there's different parts of the course that use different city streets. There's a section of the road where the street goes to one lane and it's closed to traffic. And on that section, there are no cones. So I hope I didn't make that more confusing. It's just not a straight ahead answer. So as long as you stay to the right-hand side of the course, wherever the course is marked off at, you're going to be okay. And Russ, when you get on there, if you have a different way to add into what I just said, I welcome it, because that had me thinking there for a minute.
Let's see, for the aqua bike finish, can we ride through the finish line or do they have to stop and dismount?
No, you have to dismount because it's the dismount line. So the mount dismount line, you can see right over here in red. Okay, once you approach that and you're coming out of transition, you walk your bike to that point. And I am going to do a more extensive first timers talk after the course reviews live, or I'm sorry, course reviews in person on that Saturday. So if you want to get more information, if you've never done a triathlon, come on by and you can hang out and hear this part again, or hang out for the ending part. And I'll do more that addresses first timers at that clinic. Those are the ones that are on Saturday, the 8th. But back to that question, another great question. When you get to the dismount line coming back in, you've got to get back off of your bike before you cross the dismount line. So to answer your question, you will have dismounted your bike before you go across the mat, which ends your time on aqua bike. The finish line over here is all run traffic, so there's no way to get the bike course over there.
Okay, let's see. What is the water temperature and is wetsuit or buoyancy shorts legal?
I don't know what the water temperature is now. I haven't been down there, but we'll take it on race day. Russ will take it and his temperature will be the official temperature. Plan on it not being wetsuit legal. It's going to be probably in the 80s, as hot as it's been, and it'll be dangerous to wear a wetsuit. So I would go on the assumption it is not going to be wetsuit legal, but we won't know the official temperature until that weekend.
Let's see. How deep is the river?
That I don't know. I've tried to find out. Not extremely deep, because most of our buoy, and again, it's or not again, but it's the water level, the depth will change based on how high or low the river is. And we haven't had any rain here recently, so the river level should be at a I don't think it's going to be low, but it won't be high like it is after times when they've had flood waters where it's gone up over the banks. So most of our ropes that we drop for our buoys are 50 meters long, and we never even go through about half of that rope, maybe a quarter of the rope. So my estimation on it would be that it could be as deep as about 10 meters. But again, that's going to change based on how much, how high or low the river is. So, yeah.
Let's see. Where do you recommend spectators to hang out? Where do you think is the best place?
So Sherpas, spectators. So anywhere in this area right here that you see, let's go back to and this is the map that's on the website. This yellow that you see right here is fencing, and this is the fence in the transition area, so that you guys can be organized, not having anybody get in your way. So anywhere in this area right here, they can stand and watch you. Okay. This whole area through here, they can watch you get on your bike. They can watch your transitions. They can watch you come back out of the water. You guys can go, they can go up on, people will congregate up on the bridge to watch the finish right there. So for them to watch you get out of the water, I would tell them to hang out in this area right here so they could see you exit the water. Tell them, you know, they could follow you over the swim start if they wanted to, but they wouldn't really, they'd have to get back across the bridge to get over here to see you get out. And then once you take off out on the bike, let's see if I can show you here. Once they take off out, you take off out on the bike, they can walk across this bridge on Franklin Avenue, and they can stand anywhere they want along MLK right here, because it's a big grassy shaded area. So they can walk across the bridge and walk over here. And then when you take off out on the run, they're going to need to hang, they can walk across right down here on U Parks. They can walk anywhere through here that they want and walk down. There's a path that runs right next to the road, and they can go as far down as they want to, but they're not going to see you finish. So tell them if they want to hang out somewhere in this midpoint, or really right here back at the beginning, they can see you start the run, but you're going to be coming back in on the other side of the river to finish over here. And if they stay over here, they're going to miss you finishing. So there's really a lot of different spots you can catch. But I would say for the swim portion, let's see, let's go back to this. For the swim portion, hanging out anywhere here in Indian Spring Park, they can watch you get out of the water. If they want to walk across this bridge and watch you start, or stand on the bridge and watch you start, they can do that. A lot of people do that and take pictures, and they can walk back over here, hang out here and watch you get on your bike. Then they can walk on the sidewalk across the Franklin Street Bridge and hang out over here on MLK. Signs, the louder you guys are, the more you cheer them on, the happier we all are, because it gives great energy. And then as they come back in on the bike, I would just hang out somewhere over here down U Parks to watch them take off out on the run, and then watch for them on the other side of the river, but get back over here to the finish. And there'll be a lot of people that line up here on the bridge. Olivia, did they redesign the bridge to where there's still walking space on either side right here that people can stand on?
I believe there is.
Okay. So you guys, if you want to, the bridge right here, when they come across the bridge to finish, there's a little sidewalk area right here that you can't really see. That's between the structure and the outer part. You guys can walk and line up here and take pictures of them if you want. We usually get a ton of people out there clapping, cheering, yelling. It's a great finish area. So that was long-winded, but I get excited about that one because we love to have you guys out there cheering them on.
Let's see. If we were already signed up and need to pick up our packet the morning of race day, the website, there's a $20 fee. How do we coordinate that?
So Linda, I'm going to let you answer the registration part of it, but the pickup part of it, guys, right here, right next to transition, this is the Hilton Hotel back here. Okay, right here next to transition, there'll be a tent set up in the Hilton portico, and that's where your packet will be, your race number, everything that you need. Now, the signing up part of it, Linda, would you take over on that and explain how they sign up to do that?
Yeah, no problem. If you go into your Run sign up account, you can choose the add-on, which is the race day packet pickup. Your other option is to bring cash the morning of. It's a lot easier just to go ahead and do it ahead of time. But if something happens and last minute you have to change your plans, please go ahead and try to let us know. If you send a message through the through Run sign up, it allows you to send us a message to let us know. Then we can pull your packet for you so that we have it ready for you over at the race day. So it's all prepared. It just makes it a lot more smooth.
While we're talking about packet pickup and registration, one thing I do want to mention, we've had a couple of questions about somebody else picking up your packet. And I know probably you're used to that from doing running events. USAT events are a little bit different in that we have to have you pick it up because you've got to show your USAT, that you're a USAT member, or you've got to buy a membership there. So you have to pick up your packet at a triathlon that's sanctioned by USAT. Nobody else can pick it up for you. All right, Olivia, next question. These are great questions, guys. Thank you.
We got a few more. Let's see. For Olympic swim course, what is the distance between each buoy from start to finish? And can we hold on to a buoy or something if we are tired?
So you can't hold on to a buoy, but you can hold on to a kayak. We'll have 20, is it 24, Olivia? Remind me.
Yes, sir.
24. We have 24 open water swim lifeguards out there on kayaks that are watching your back. If you want to call a kayak over, put your arm up, pump your arm above your head, and you can rest on a kayak if you'd like. Now, the kayak can't make forward progression. They'll sit still. They know this. All they ask is that if you hold on to a kayak to catch your breath because you're having a moment, let that kayaker know that you're going to let go, because chances are they put their weight the opposite way. And when you let go, they're going to keep going all the way over into the drink. So you can hold on to a kayaker, but you can't hold on to the buoys. Okay. Now, the distance in between buoys is roughly in between each one of the sight buoys is usually right around about 100 meters, 50, right around 75 meters in between each one of the sight buoys. And then we divide up each one of the the turn buoys are a little bit further apart. And that's why the sight buoys are there to help guide you. So there's not so far in between. So you can see from this map, to get 1,500 meters from end to end, each one of those turn buoys is spread out pretty far. So from here, from where we start to about where this is the, I can't remember the name of that bridge. Can't remember the name of that bridge right there, but from there to there, about the midpoint, you can see that each one of those buoys is roughly about 250 meters apart. So each one of the sight buoys will end up being about 75 to 100 meters apart to give you something to sight on. And they're big red ones, the sight buoys, so that you can't miss them.
Next, is a tri-suit considered a wetsuit?
No, as long as it's a tri-suit, that's just a regular tri-suit material. No, you're okay on that.
Are chips ankle chips or bib chips? Are there rules about the direction of the bib facing on the front or on the back?
So the bib needs to be, you'll have a timing chip on your ankle, and then you'll have your run bib. The chip isn't in the run number. It's actually in the timing chip, which is on your ankle. The run number needs to be facing up front.
Okay. How and where will the relay teams pass off the timing chip?
So we'll have a little section. We'll put all of the back here, right about here where you see run out. Back in this area, we'll set up a relay transition area, and we're going to put a tent up for you so you don't have to stand in the heat. So we'll have a special rack just for relays, and we'll have a tent right there so that your other athletes in your group can stand under the tent and not stand out in the heat. But you guys will be back here together in one area. And so you'll just take the timing chip off in that area and hand it to the next person.
Let's see. I just bought a one-day USAT membership, so I don't have a card or anything. Do I just need the number I was given at registration?
Yeah, you should be able to show it to them. You should be able to show it to them, call it up and show it to them on your phone. And Linda, correct me on this if I'm wrong.
Oh, that's correct.
Okay.
How many participants would there be in the sprint and Olympic race?
Gosh, you know, guys, we're grateful. We're headed back in the right direction post-COVID, back up to, you know, getting close to the 800, over 800 number. So this race every year, we kind of almost have it split down the middle even. And I haven't looked at the registrations for this year, but plan on there being 400 to 500, 400 sprint and 400 Olympic athletes. So what the breakdown is, I don't know. While Russ is talking in a minute, I'll tell you what, I will jump on and take a look at where we are right now, and I'll come back to you and let you guys know at the end.
And then does our race number have to be worn during the bike or only put on for the run?
Great question that I say I'm going to address every year, and I don't. And what I mean by address it is, so you don't have to wear, you've got your bike number on your bike. It's got to be visible laterally from the side, which means that you've got to put it on your bike on the frame to where the official can see it from the right or left side. It can't be facing straight forward off your handlebars. So your bike number is on your bike. The run number, you do not have to wear on your bike. However, I recommend for ease that you do wear it on the bike. Get yourself a run number belt. They're not very expensive. Bicycle World will have some that weekend that you can go buy, or their running store, which is, remind me, Olivia, the name of the running store?
Bicycle, oh, I'm sorry, Waco Running Company.
Waco Running Company, thank you. Waco Running Company, they'll have them there as well. And I recommend you put your run number on and just spin it around to the back and wear it on the bike. That way, when you jump off and go to transition and run, you just move it around to the front. But I do not require, as the race director, that you wear your run number on the bike. That was the original question, right, Olivia?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see. I think we're looking good. Last one, when we are on sections of the bike course that are not closed, how do we know we're still on the course?
Say that again. I'm so sorry. I missed that question.
When we are on sections of the bike course that are not, or I think they meant coned, when we're on sections of the bike course that are not coned, how will we know we are still on the course?
You'll know you're still on there. And I don't know how to explain that with over explaining it. That's me, because I over explain stuff. That's a good question. So there's only one section of the course that it's shut down to vehicular traffic, and you'll know when you get there, because the road, let me show you on the, so right here, from right here on MLK, as you have ingress onto the bike course from Franklin right here, all the way down here, okay, until you get to, you see where this kind of splits apart right here. This whole section through here, you're riding on what we call the inside median lane, and that's where the cones are on your right-hand side. That was a question earlier. Once you get to this section right here, past Herring Avenue, this whole section through here is closed to vehicular traffic. So through this section right here, you get the lane to the side, and you'll know when you get there, you just get to ride on the road. So through this whole section right here, you're on the right-hand side, you're on the northbound lane going north, then you turn around, you come back, and the same thing back here, you're on the southbound lane. And when you get back across this again, that's where it goes back to being two lanes. So I guess that's the way we could say it. where the road has 2 lanes, you've got cones to guide you. When it goes down to 1 lane, we've closed it to traffic and you don't have any cones there because you've got the whole road. So the only exception on this is something that you probably won't even be aware of. Up here in this area, there's a retirement home and they have shift change at 7 o'clock in the morning. So what we're doing is we've worked out a system with Waco PD and with the traffic control company where we're going to create a lane on the shoulder and bring cars in. So if you happen to see a car, we're going to put signs out there that say cars right, bikes left. It's because a car is being brought down by a pilot vehicle with lights on it to get them into work. And I think there's 6 employees we have to get into work that morning, but you may not even notice that's happening and going on. So great questions, guys. Olivia, what else you got?
Can I run shirtless, Frank?
What's that?
Can I run shirtless?
Can you run shirtless? You can on the run course. Russ, has that changed in the rules?
No, well, let me clarify it. You can run shirtless, but nudity is not allowed.
Yeah. So I had to pause on that because for some reason I thought there was a rule change on that. So male athletes, yes, you can run shirtless, but that's as far as it goes. So that's what Russ saying.
All right, let's see. We'll go over the bike helmet requirements in just a second. So if everyone is rolling into the swim, does the last person in the swim still have an hour to complete, or how does that part work?
So everybody has until 8:10 and everybody gets into the water pretty quick. Matter of fact, this year we're going to let everybody get into the water I'll have a coordinator standing there that'll make sure that it doesn't get, that we don't, that it's done safely, that we have a little bit of regulation, wait a couple of seconds in between. We're going to start anywhere from 2 to 4 people at a time lined up and let them go in the water. So by the time you get in the water, you're still going to have pretty close to an hour, but we don't have a time limit on there to say that if you're the sprint distance, you have X number of minutes to complete the swim. Everybody has until 8:10 to complete the swim. So it's going to be the time that you have to complete it. It's going to depend on when you get in the water. So for instance, the sprint distance that starts at 6:30, we'll have everybody in the water and we've timed it before. I think it takes us like about 10 minutes to get everybody in the water. You're going to have from 6:40 until 8:10 to finish 400 meters. The Olympic distance, as soon as you guys get down there, the reason that the schedule says approximately 6:50 is if you guys walk down there and the first folks get there at the front at 6:48, we're going to go ahead and start getting people in the water as soon as you arrive. So with that said, the Olympic distance, we usually get everybody into the water on that one the same amount of time, 10, 15 minutes. Like I said, we have a wide enough berth that we can put upwards of 4 people in at the same time to where you'll be on the water and you should have well over an hour to complete the swim for the Olympic distance too, going downstream. So.
Okay, let's see. This next one's a little long, so bear with me. This is my first ever triathlon and I don't have any open water swim experience. So most likely I'll be the last person jumping in the water. Will there be at least one volunteer in the water behind or close to the very last swimmer so that if I panic or want to hold on to something for resting, I'll be sure that I'm safe?
Great question. First off, I know what a huge moment this is for you to do your first open water swim triathlon. And again, I am honored that we're able to provide that experience. And know that we've all gone through that our first time. So when you get in the water, there won't be a volunteer swimming in the water with you. We're very aware that you're the last person. Come talk to me race morning. Come find me. I'll take a moment to talk to you. My swim coordinator, Marshall, will, just to ease your nerves on it. If you find yourself in that position, when you get in the water, the kayakers are going to know that you're the last swimmer and they're going to keep an eye on you and they'll know that you're the last one in and we'll get you back to the finish safely. So there'll be people that'll be aware of where you are and we'll know that you're there. We'll know that you're the last person in the water and we'll get you to the finish line, and please come see me when you finish as well.
Will the Olympic swimmers start on arrival or wait for all sprint to start first?
They'll start on arrival. Yep. So you guys will get there. And again, back to why it says approximately 6:50 is that's about how long it takes. We've timed it for everybody to walk down there at the most. So as soon as you guys get there, we're going to get you in the water. We're not going to have you wait until the sprint till the sprint ends. We're going to start you right away as soon as you get down there.
Gotcha. Let's see. Can I carry my kids across the finish line?
Sure. If they're up there with you, absolutely. Have them wait up on the, you know what they can do is they can wait. I don't have a real good picture of the suspension bridge here. So at this end of the suspension bridge, the run, let's go to the run map for a second, actually. Okay. So when you're running on this side of the river over here, okay, and you come down to the suspension bridge, as you come up the ramp, there's a ramp that's going to bring you up onto the suspension bridge. Have them wait down at that end of the suspension bridge, and they'll see mom coming up. They can look down off of the bridge and see you coming up the path and be ready for you. And absolutely, they can run with you. That would be awesome. Or they can wait anywhere on the bridge that they want to.
All right. Other than the bike helmet requirements, we are good to go, Frank.
I had somebody look up for me while we were talking. Right now, we're pretty much split like we usually are, sprint to Olympic. So what happens with, I'll give you guys a quick glimpse inside how the sausage is made, and then I'm going to turn it over to Russ. We're at 7:24 right now. We want to be respectful of your time. We tend to get a lot of our registrations in the last couple of weeks because everybody is watching the weather, and we completely understand that. So right now it's split even, and I would count on having right about, based on what I'm seeing, probably right about 400 to 450 people sprint, 400 to 450 people in the Olympic as well. So about what I said earlier to answer that question. Okay, you guys, that was a first for me. I've never done an athlete briefing online. Hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. We're going to have this up. They're going to put it up as a recording on the website. And then also we'll be doing another version, doing this again out there in person on race weekend. But before we leave, I want to turn it over to our head official, Russ Jackson, and let him answer any of those competitive rules questions you guys have. Russ?
Hey, Russ, the question
Let
that we
me,
had
let
asked
me
twice.
unmute. I'm
Oh.
sorry?
The question that we had asked twice for you is, how do we know our helmet is considered okay by the race rules, and what are the requirements for helmets?
Well, if you don't mind, Olivia, let me go through let me save the questions for last. I've got a couple of things that I want to point out here, and then I've got that question already written down, so we'll go with that. Is that okay?
That's great.
Okay, guys. Well, welcome to the world of triathlons. Frank and I have been doing this a long time. I'm pushing on almost 35 years now. So, you know, I'll be the good looking guy out there in the red shirt. A couple things. For those folks that have been around triathlon for a while, you know the rules are changing and evolving. The reason for that is the Olympics and World Triathlon and Ironman and all these different, we're trying to bring it in under one umbrella of rules. So there's been some significant changes out there that you need to be aware of. Number one, the draft zone on the bicycle. The draft zone is now 10 meters long, and you have 20 seconds to pass. So how far is 10 meters? It's 5 bike lengths, and I cannot figure that out in my head. So just go with it's 2 car lengths. Just think of 2 car lengths, 20 seconds to pass. The other thing that is a significant change in the past for you veterans, you've seen the official write up beside you and start writing numbers and everything else. We're now going to the yellow, blue, red card notification. So as an official comes up beside you and shows you a yellow card, they're going to be telling you that there's a violation of some sort. And particularly if you're on the bike, you will have to go to the penalty tent, and that's going to be at the end of transition, and it will be marked, but you will have to go to the penalty tent for a red card, a blue card, or a yellow card. Red card is bad news because that means there's a disqualification potential there. So we try to stay away from the red cards. So please, try to, if you can, review the competitive rules on the usatriathlon.org site. that really will answer a lot of these questions that you have out here. And it'll take about 30 minutes, but go through, look up the competitive rules. That'll be the bread thing to do. We also, instead of just giving out penalties, we have a new procedure called warn and amend. So if you're in transition and you forget to buckle your chin strap, the official will stand there and say, hey, buckle your chin strap or whatever else. But there's a warn and amend. If it looks like you're about to get into a drafting situation or a problem, the official will come up and they'll work with you and say, hey, you need to back off a little bit or whatever it is out there on the course. So that's going to be our first course of action, is we're going to try to warn and amend and help you to avoid any kind of penalties. And that's really, it makes my job a whole lot easier if I don't have to write up a bunch of penalties at the end of the race. Now, there's some important changes also. I think I saw a question earlier about buoyancy shorts. If wetsuits are not permitted, and I agree with Frank, is pretty unlikely it's going to be wetsuit legal. You cannot wear buoyancy shorts. You cannot wear anything that is neoprene or anything like that. So don't be walking down to the race start and the official stands there and sees these shiny shorts, because I tell you what, they stand out. So please be aware of that. Helmets for the bike. The minute you touch your bike, your helmet has to be on with the chin strap buckled. So it's no longer, hey, I'm going to run out of transition, I'll buckle it once I get on the bike or any of that. Nope. Put your helmet on, buckle it, then grab your bike, head out transition. When you come back after the dismount, rack your bike first, then unbuckle your helmet. The biggest problem we have on the run is pacing. So again, we're going to try to warn them in. We don't want to be coming on too strong, but you can't have your coach or anybody else running with you, particularly an athlete that's already finished the race, then out there running to keep you company. That's called pacing, and we want to stay away from that. I get a lot of questions about electronics. Can I have my cell phone with me? Can I have my computer that's telling me my pace and everything else? Yes, you can. You cannot use them in a distractive manner. And what do I mean by that? You've got your cell phone and you're trying to shoot selfies while you're on your bike or you're on the run. That's a distracting manner. So you can have them on there to help you compute and know how fast you're running or what your splits are, but you cannot have them out and use them talking to, your best friend or anything else. And last but not least about electronics is headphones. Guys, this is a safety problem, and I don't care if they're earplugs or pods or whatever they call them now. Don't have anything sticking in your ear. This is a problem, and it's a safety problem in that it impedes your hearing, and so you're not going to hear that somebody behind you trying to pass or anything else, instructions from anything. Those are the big key rules changes. There will be 3 of us as officials. Please come up, ask us questions. We're more than happy to help you out, whether you're a first timer or this is your 500th race. And as far as the questions that were written, the first one is about the bike helmet. What we're looking for in a bike helmet is the CPSC sticker. And you can just look in that and see it yourself. It's that little sticker that, that was put on when the helmet was made. And that means that it was approved by the Consumer Products, I don't know, Safety Council or something like that. But it just says CPSC in it. But the big thing about helmets is make sure that all the plastic is in one piece, and you cannot have a GoPro or anything like that on a helmet. That's considered altering the helmet. So make sure you don't have anything like that. I saw one question about latex. Can I wear, I'm allergic to latex. You can wear your own silicone swim cap, but what you have to do is take the latex cap that is provided by the race director and wear that over it. You have to wear the race approved swim cap. And the last thing, and I've seen several questions about this, can I wear flip-flops, shoes to the swim start? This is just a personal recommendation that I've used before. If you don't want to wear flip-flops or something like that, or not used to them, just grab an old pair of socks and wear the socks down there. They may not help with a stone or something, but they're a little more comfortable and they'll dampen the heat on the sidewalk and everything else. Other than that, if you've got any other questions, oh, I see one up here. In the no pass zone, will the draft zone regulation be enforced? No, the race director has already said that's a no pass zone. We're not going to be calling any penalties in that zone. Are you allowed to have? Okay, I think I've already talked about the headphones. And this question has come up before on other races. Guys, it's a safety issue. That's why we're not allowing headphones. That's why USAT does not allow headphones, is because it's too much of a safety problem that gets into liability and everything else. Is a swim cap use required? Yes. If the race director issues a swim cap, it is required. Can we wear whatever color we want? I'm not sure I understand. Are we talking swim caps or what are we talking about there?
Swimsuit.
Swimsuit? We don't care what colors. I don't care. Would have to ask the race director, but I don't care what color swimsuit you wear. So that's fine. Okay, Frank, unless you've got something else, that's the big thing. Is the last thing I want to end in is somebody was asking about knowing the bike course and everything else. Guys, the one thing that I'm going to come up with is my number one pet peeve. It is your responsibility to know the race course, okay? And I've heard this over the years. Well, somebody directed me wrong and everything else. Come in the day before, or, you know, if you can, drive the course, drive the bike course, get familiar with it. That's where you're going to avoid most of your problem. Running mounts on T1. Again, not sure I understand that question. But I'll answer it this way. Once you cross the bike mount line and you want to take a running start and jump on your bike, yeah, I'm fine with that. That's as long as the race director is fine with it, but there's nothing in the rule says you can't.
I'm fine with it as long as you practice it and it's not your first time. Definitely a skill you want to
Exactly.
practice first so you don't get injured. So,
Right.
Russ, thank you so much, guys. Russ will be out there. He loves to answer questions. He loves this as much as I do. He'll be there race weekend. You know, if you think of something else that we haven't answered here today, please come on by and see us race weekend. I'll make myself available to answer. He'll be at the athlete briefings. He can answer them again there if you have rules questions. I do recommend you take a moment and go to the USAT website and at least look through. There's a document called Most Violated Rules. It's about a page long. Take a look at it and read it. Talks about, reinforces some of the stuff Russ talked about. The competitive rules are long, but if you're going to stay in the sport of triathlon, I recommend you take a moment to read through them because you can learn a whole bunch from reading through it. And it's a long document. It's probably 70 pages long. It's not light reading, but look at it, take a look at it. There's a ton of information there.
Frank, if they just read pages 6 through 10, they'll be perfect for any race.
Okay, perfect. Take a look at that, guys, on the USAT website, usatriathlon.org, I believe. Is that right, Russ? usatriathlon.org,
Yes, that's
right?
correct. .org.
One thing about the flip-flops, I'm glad somebody said that. So the ground from transition over there is wonderful smooth ground. We'll take a look at it, make sure there's no, chunks of glass or something. We, still be aware of where you're walking, but it's all sidewalk. So it's not rough ground. It's not going to be hot enough yet that the pavement won't hurt your feet. If you wear flip-flops over there, what we're going to do is we're going to provide a large receptacle, probably 2, that you can deposit those flip-flops into. Now it's going to be a mass container with everybody's in there together. We're going to bring that container back to transition, and you'll have to dig through there and find yours and get them back out. So if you wear them over, we are going to bring them back over and try to get them back to you. But know that they're going to be in a mass container with everybody else's. We're going to transport it back and set it in transition. You can come snag them afterwards. Whatever we don't do, we usually give away to the homeless population or give them to a shelter. So that brings us to a close. We're at 1 hour and 8 minutes. Let me end by saying what I started with. We're honored. I cannot be more sincere. We're so thankful and grateful that you're doing TriWaco. It's got a long history. I've been a part of the history of my company. TriNow has been a part of that history for 10 plus years now, and we love this race. So we get a lot of first timers. We hope you have an amazing experience. Let's all prepare for heat. We know what we've been going through here in Texas, so plan accordingly. Get yourself set with a hat for the run. You guys that are doing your first race, make sure that hat's not cotton. Go get yourself a run hat or a run visor that's made out of some kind of a performance material, something other than cotton. And remember, on the run course, take those cold towels. Take them, hold on to them and get rid of them at another rest stop or back at the finish. Other than that, I cannot thank you for an hour of your time this evening. We'll see you coming up here pretty quick, and come say hi to me. I'd love to shake your hand. Thanks so much for your time tonight, guys. Y'all take care. Bye.